Okay, this is going to suck, but we are going to be programming our calculators with a program that will solve for a race car driving around a curved bank in a circle that has friction. It's not terrible to do on paper, but it's nicer if you have a program. This is going to take a while, and this is built out of two separate programs, one for the Vmax and one for the Vmin. And people with the not color, the people who do not have the TI-84 plus CE are going to need to pay extra attention, because every time that let's start and I'll explain this. Every time that there is a wait command, you need to put in pause instead of wait, and I'll show that off. But we're going to start with creating a program called Vmax, and let's get it started here. I'm going to open it up on my calculator and copy it. So first things first, as always, you're going to go program, you're going to input output, and you're going to press 8. That's clear home. Just wipes your screen, makes programs work a lot nicer. And second, you're going to go there, you're going to go to outputs, that's program, input, output, and then select output, and you want to output at 1, 1. And if you are a non-color, you want to output at 2, 1. So start at 2 instead of starting at 1. So for this one, we're going to go 1, 1, we're going to go second alpha, and I'm going to say V second math equals 1. And this is just going to pop up on the screen that V equals 1. I'm going to output here at 2, 1. And again, if you do not have the color calculator, this would be 2 and then 3. And I'm going to say R equals 2. And I'm going to continue on at 3. Again, if you're using the non-color, that'd be 4. And I'm going to say theta equals that. And again, equals is second math, 3. So close that, close your parentheses, go out. So again, one last time, output at 4, 1. And this one is M. M is for mu. There's no mu symbol on the calculator, so that's what we're going to do. And then second math equals 4. And that is it for the very first section of a very long program. Now, this is the first wait command. You're going to go program, alpha, math, and that's wait, and then 2. If you were on the non-color, you would want to go program 8 for pause. Don't put anything else after that, just have it pause. When it pauses, you will have to press enter yourself, and then the program will continue. It does some weird things, which is why all of these need to be one number higher. So just pay attention to that. I'm going to keep going. So we want clear home one more time. We're going to set 9.81, store it to G. That's for gravity, so we can use that in our equations. And now for the actual math and the workings of the program. We're going to go to prompt. That's input output 2. And we want to prompt A. We're going to say program if, and this is where if statements come in. If A equals 1, right, and you have to put then, because if you didn't put then, it would not work. Then allows you to extend an if statement. If it isn't there, then the if statement would only work for one line, and it would be terrible. So if A equals 1, then prompt R, comma, theta, comma, M. That'll ask you for your R, your theta, your M. Then we're going to clear our home, and this is where some math comes in. So it's the square root of GR, square root of GR, close that, times, you don't need to do multiplication, just put another square root symbol. The square root of, add a second parentheses, there's 2 parentheses there, tangent theta, close that parenthesis, plus M, close that parenthesis, divided by, open parenthesis, 1 minus M tangent of theta, and then 3, closing parentheses, 1, 2, 3, store that to V for velocity. Enter, then we're going to say output at 1, 1. Again, if you're on the non-color, just up that first digit by 1, so that would be 2, 1. And I'm going to say Vmax equals, and then space. Close that out. So at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the next one is going to need to be at output 7. So again, 1, 7, or again 2, 7 if you were in the non-color, and output V. I'm going to then tell it to wait 2. If you were in the non-color, you would say pause, and then I'm going to say end. End must be there. That cancels out the if statement. Now into our next if statement. We have 8 total. If A equals 2, then prompt V, comma theta, comma m for mu. We're going to clear our home, so that's input output 8. Then it's V squared divided by parenthesis G tangents of theta, close parenthesis, plus m, close that one, just once, not twice, divided by, open parenthesis, 1 minus m tan of theta. Close that twice, store it to r. Now we're going to do that same thing. We're just going to output r. So again, that's output at 1, 1, or 2, 1 if you're on the non-color. I'm going to say r equals, then space, close that. Then we're going to get output at 1, 2, 3, 4. So at 1, 4, or 2, 4 if you were on the non-color, and you're going to output r. And of course, next, same as last time, we're going to wait 2, or you would just say pause if you were in the non-color, then end. Onto our third statement. If A equals 3, then prompt V, R, and M. So V, comma R, comma M. We're going to clear our home. That's input output 8. And for this math, that's antitangent, or tangent to the negative first of 2 parentheses V squared minus, I'm going to do second alpha here, RMG, divided by RG plus M times V squared, so parenthesis V squared, just to make sure our square doesn't do anything weird, and then 3 closing parentheses. Store that to theta. And of course, we're just going to output it like we have previously. So again, 1, 1, or 2, 1 if you're in the non-color, and I'm going to say theta equals space, close that out, and then I'm going to output at 1, 4, theta. Then we're going to tell it to wait 2. Again, if you're on the non-color, you are going to want to say pause and nothing else after that. Then we're going to end that one, and we're on to the last one of this section. If A equals 4, then prompt V, R, and theta. Then you're going to clear your home. That's program input output 8. And onto this math, that's parenthesis V squared minus RG tangent of theta, close 2 parentheses, divide that by an open parenthesis V squared tangents of theta, close that parenthesis, plus R G, store that to M. So again, I'm going to repeat that one because it was a bit loose. That is parenthesis V squared minus RG tangents of theta, close 2 parentheses, divided by open parenthesis V squared tangents of theta, close parenthesis, plus RG, close parenthesis, store to M. Now again, we're halfway done now. We need to output at 1, 1, or 2, 1 if you are in the non-color. M equals space, close that out, and then again output at 1, 4 or 2, 4 if you were on the non-color, and output M. Then again, one last time for this section. That's again program alpha A, or just do the wait, do the pause if you are on the non-color, which is program 8. Wait 2, and then program 7 for end. And that is it for Vmax. Now we're on to Vmin. So it's this entire thing one more time. Gonna second quit, program, go over to new, create new, Vmin, and you can name these whatever you want. You just need to remember which one's which, because if you mess it up later, you're gonna really kick yourself. So I'm gonna go to my calculator, I'm gonna edit Vmin, and we're just gonna do this whole thing again. So it's clear home, output at 1, 1, V equals 1, close parenthesis. Oh, that would have sucked. Make sure to put in quotation marks here. There we go. You're going to output at 2, 1, V equals 2, not V, R equals 2. Close that parenthesis. Then you're going to output at 3, 1, and again for non-color calculator people, that would be 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to want to say theta equals 3, close that, and one last one. You're going to say at 4, 1, that M equals 4, and close that. That'd be 5, 1 if you were not on the color calculator. Again, you're going to go to program, alpha A, wait for 2, or just pause if you're on a non-color calculator. Then you're going to say clear home. You're going to store 9.81 to G. Just scroll down on my calculator here. And now for our first prompt, you're going to prompt A. And then we're really into it. Okay. If A equals 1, then prompt R theta M. Program input output clear your home. Now we're going to do the square root of GR. Close that parenthesis times the square root of, make sure you get this right, 2 parentheses, tangent theta minus M divided by 1 plus M tangents of theta. Close 3 parentheses. Store that to G, or sorry, store that to V for velocity. And then we're going to output this. So that's output at 1, 1 or 2, 1 if you were on a non-color calculator. V equals space, bam, bam, output at 1, 4, V. You're going to have it wait 2, or again just pause if you were a non-color calculator person, then end, and we're on to number 2. If A equals 2, then prompt V theta and M, then clear your home. And now you're going to do some math. This is V squared divided by parenthesis G tangents of theta minus M. Now, this is basically the same stuff as last time. It's just reverse signs. Divided by parenthesis 1 plus m tangents of theta, 2 parentheses closing, store to r. Then we are going to output at 1, 1 or 2, 1 if you're in a non-color calculator. Again, r equals space quotation close your parenthesis. Again, output at 1, 4 or 2, 4 if you're on a non-color, and then output r. Close that, and we're done with that section. We're just going to say wait 2 and end. Again, instead of wait 2, you would say pause if you were on a non-color calculator. Halfway there for this program, if a equals 3, then prompt v r and m. Enter. You're going to clear your home. And you're going to do antitangent, 2 parentheses, v squared plus germ. Close the parenthesis, divide that by, open parenthesis, v squared, m minus ger, 2 closing parentheses, and store that to theta. Make sure you press enter because that's not a new line, and you're going to go program output at 1, 1 or 2, 1 if you're on a non-color calculator. Theta equals space, close that. Then again, you're going to output at 1, 4 or 2, 4 if you are on a non-color calculator, and you're going to output theta. Now moving forward, we're going to say wait 2 and end, or again, pause and end if you're on a non-color. And then if a equals 4, then prompt v r and theta. You're going to go program write 8 for clear home. Hey, quick PSA, I had to retake this twice. There's a mistake in vmin. Down here in the mu, it was derived wrong by me. Oops. So basically, you're just going to want to clear the equation, and it's v squared minus ger tan of theta. Close that with 2 parentheses and divide by, open parentheses, negative ger minus v squared tan of theta. Close that with 2 parentheses. Store it to m, and then just a quick proof. There's a inquiry problem. We're going to solve for the vmin, and we're going to solve for mu just to prove that we're going to get the right one. So mu should turn out to be 0.3 or very close to 0.3. So we're going to solve for mu here. The velocity, the minimum is 10.36. The radius is 40 meters, and the 32 degrees, and we get 0.3. There we go. Hopefully this will make life easy. Then you're going to output at 1, 1, and you're going to say m equals space, close that out, and close your parentheses. And again, 2, 1 if you were on a non-color calculator. I will keep repeating that so that no one accidentally forgets and then ruins their program, because that would really suck. You're going to put m, and why did I type 2, 1? Look at me making mistakes. If you're on a non-color, do that. If you're not, don't do that. You want to put that at 1, 4. I need to double check that I didn't mess that up here. Okay, we're good. You can tell I'm tired. You're going to go over program alpha A, you're going to wait 2, then you're going to go program 7 and end, and that is it for that. And now onto our final little tie together program. I'm going to name mine bank turn. Name yours whatever you want. Just this is the real program. This is the one you'll actually be using. So you're gonna output at 1 1, not input, output at 1 1. Again, I repeat 2 1 for those of you using non-color calculators. Vmax equals 1. Make sure to close your quotations. I need to... Nope, don't need to worry about that. Okay. Then you're going to output at 2 1 or 3 1 if you're on a non-color calculator, and you're going to say Vmin equals 2. And make sure to close your quotations. On the next one, you're going to say wait for 2. Again, pause if you are in a non-color. Clear your home, and then you're going to prompt B. You're going to say if B equals 1, and this is where it gets kind of crazy. This is where it gets insane. Okay, this is where I'm going to drink some water. If B equals 1, program, and go over to execute, and then find your Vmax, and click it. Bam. So if B equals 1, it'll execute the program Vmax, and it'll do Vmax. And if B equals 2, let's execute Vmin. Now, the reason that there's no then and end statements here is because I'm only wanting to execute the one line below the if statement. If I had more lines like previously, I would need if blank, then what I want to happen, and then an end at the end. Because I only need one line, I'm just saying if B equals 1, do the thing. If something else, do the other thing. That's how it works. We're done. That's it. That's the whole program. Hooray for you guys. Again, I'm just going to rephrase one final time. If you are on a color calculator, everything I showed is exactly the same as this is what you do. If you're on the non-color calculator, every time that you see a wait, you need to put in pause and no numbers afterwards, just pause. And if you, in any of the outputs like this, the very first number, just always add 1. So this would be output at 2 1 and output at 3 1. Or on every other one, just add 1 to the first number, because if you don't, when the program pauses, it will cover it up and you won't be able to see it. So some quick tips to remember. Will be easier when the program actually runs, and I'm just going to show that it works. I'm expecting 7 when I do the 7 should be the answer for what I'm about to do. So if we do bank turn and we run it, it says Vmax equals 1, Vmin equals 2. And it's going to prompt me, B. Now what do I want? I want Vmax, personally, because it's what I know right now. So I'll click 1, and I'll say enter. Now it's running program Vmax. V equals 1, R equals 2, theta equals 3, mu equals 4. What do I want to solve for? Okay, I want to solve for velocity, so I'll say 1, because that's what I'm solving for. What's my radius? Let's say my radius is 10. Let's say my theta is also 10, and let's say that the mu is 0.3. Mu has to be less than 1, or else the program will just shut down. It won't even work. Vmax is 7.02. Look at that. Then program waits a second, and it's done. Okay, and just to prove it, you can also run it for Vmin. So same things right here, V1, R2, theta 3. So yeah, this is kind of trippy, but I really just don't want to embarrass myself. I ended up testing for the Vmin, but as you saw earlier, I actually programmed mu wrong, and I tried to solve for mu, and I got like -5. Yeah, so once you make the edit, mu will come out right every time. Nothing else is wrong in the thing as far as I know. So, good rule of thumb, just use the Vmax, because those are all correct. And you can always use the Vmax, because you just solve for it and you can get everything. And then whenever you need Vmin, just use the Vmin program. Uh, yeah, so have a good night. The It's so slippery that it is the opposite of slippery. I don't even know, but again, that was not even a real equation that he would give, so it doesn't prove anything. um, yeah, I remember what I was gonna do.